Hello, thank you for clicking on this video. This is my new YouTube channel, my first YouTube video ever. So sorry if it's a little bit rough, but they will get better, I promise. Today we're going to make an angel out of shells, and I'm just showing you here the supplies that I have. You need obviously a variety of shells, twine, your hot glue, and a couple little wooden beads, and some pearls and some chocolate there for when you need a chocolate break. So I've picked out some different shells that I thought might work here. Just trying different things to see what's gonna fit well together. Some pieces for the wings, some for the head, different colors for the dress. So let me speed it up a little bit here. I've narrowed it down. So now here comes the final decision. Just trying to see what fits well. You can obviously use whatever shells you want. I encourage you to get creative and just try a lot of different options. Get funky with it. I feel like the more unique it is, the better. I'm gonna speed it up in a second here so you don't have to see my long decision process. I kind of wish I went with that colored one now, looking back, but that's not the one I chose. Alright, so that's my final decision. Just gonna move everything out of the way here. Alright, so now that we have the body and wings figured out, I want my angel to hold like a horn or musical instrument, something. So I'm just choosing for that. I need to go restock my shell supply so I have more options, and you can get shells at the Dollar Tree, on Amazon. I got a lot of my shells just from my mom getting rid of shells, but I've also bought some on Amazon and from the Dollar Tree. Alright, so then now I'm gonna sort out my pearls, which I also got from the Dollar Tree. And again, I'll speed it up because they were going everywhere and taking me forever to sort out, so they were rolling all over the place. I like the ones from the Dollar Tree because they come in 3 different sizes in one pack. You just have to buy a couple packs to get a good amount, but I actually liked those better than the ones I had found on Amazon, although I'm sure you could find good ones on Amazon as well, and any craft store. Okay, so now I'm just gonna start gluing the wings on. And normally I'm not quite this messy with the hot glue, but like I said, this is my first video ever, so I was having trouble doing this at the same time as making sure I was in the right place for the camera. So yes, I got a little bit of hot glue where I didn't want it, but that's okay. And you'll see this shell, well, you'll see better when it goes up close, but I like to use these shells for the heads. Well, you can't see it now, but the shell I'm going to use for the head, I like using this style because there's like this little curly Q thing at the top that it looks like it's like a bun, like hair. And this is abstract, so you know there's a lot of different shells you could use for this, but See how it's like a, looks like she's got a bun pulled to the side. So I like these shells for the head, but you could use anything really, and you could play around using different supplies like buttons, rocks. But see, I've got hot glue everywhere. And I'm just reinforcing on the back since I don't really care what it looks like on the back. If you want it to be more polished on the back, then obviously you wouldn't be squirting hot glue everywhere like I'm doing here. Just pulling off the hot glue. And now we are going to add our pearls to the dress. And again, you can decorate this however you want, so I think it would be kind of cute to maybe do smaller shells or just play around with different options. I could even decoupage onto the dress with a napkin or fabric. I think I might actually do that. I just thought of that. That's a good idea, actually. Just speeding it up because, again, the beads were going everywhere. It's taking me a little bit to get it all on there. Alright, so now I believe we're gonna start the halo. So I'm gonna grab some twine and cut off a good size piece. I cut off a too short piece at first, so I always like to start with a really long piece and then just cut off the excess because I'm not the best tire of knots. So you'll see I toss this one out as soon as I realize I made it too short. Alright, on to the next piece of twine. So I'm just tying a knot. I just want to get a circle that is a good size for the halo. So I'm just going to tie a knot and then cut off the excess string, because we're going to be gluing that later. I told you I wasn't the best tire of knots. You can see that firsthand now. Alright, so just cut off the excess. And then this next part's kind of weird, but it's how I found it's best to get twine a little stiffer, like to harden up a little bit, is I grab some wood glue, but you could use any kind of glue, Elmer's glue or anything, and then I've given up a long time ago on not getting messy while crafting, so I just doing it with my fingers here. So you're just gonna take a little glue and then rub it on the twine in between your fingers, and that will kind of harden it up a little bit. As well as keep the knot in place. And then we're just going to put it aside to let that glue dry. I find that hot glue, wood glue, builds up on my fingers the longer I craft, so I have to stop in between so I don't get glue on the other pieces. Alright, so now we're going to work on the arms while that halo dries. So this first arm that I did was a little rough, and then I did better on the second one. I'm just putting some glue on the end of that twine because it's a little bit frayed, and it's easier to just slide it through the bead if it's, you know, if it's... And then I'm just going to tie a little knot. This one I was having a little bit of trouble with. But, and you don't even have to do this knotted part. You could just, you know, glue the bead at the end of the twine. But I kind of like how it looks kind of rustic, kind of rough, you know. So, and here I burn myself with the hot glue, as I do multiple times on every craft that I use hot glue. Alright, so then I'm just cutting off the excess here, and then I'm gonna figure out what size the arm needs to be. So, and again, you don't have to use a bead and twine. You could use, I haven't found anything better for the arms than the twine, but let me know in the comments below if you have other ideas for any part of this angel. But yeah, you can just play around with your supplies and see what you like the best. I'm sure mine angels will evolve over time. So I'm just speeding this up so you don't have to watch that painful process over again. Alright, just cutting it to the right length. Alright, so now we have our arms and hands. And I actually would have liked some smaller beads, but I ran out of my tiny beads and didn't realize it before I made this video, so I probably would have made the hands a little bit smaller. But so now I'm gluing on the horn or whatever it is. It's up for interpretation here. I just like the idea of the angel holding something. And it's a musical angel. So, just picking off some more of the glue strings. So now we have almost everything on there. All we're missing is the halo. I find the hot glue works really well with the shells, but you kind of have to play around with it for a little bit sometimes. So now that our halo is all hardened up, it's going to be easier to put these beads on there. If you have beads and twine, that you're able to just put the twine through the beads, then that would be ideal, of course. But I wanted these really tiny pearls and I couldn't fit them in the twine, so that's why I'm using hot glue instead of just threading them. But if you have, you know, thinner twine that you can use or bigger beads that you think would look fine, then I would suggest threading it and then tying it into a circle. But this works. Alright, so now I'm just going to glue that onto the back of the head. And mistake that I've made is that these pearls are so tiny, they really need to, you need to let the glue dry before you touch it, play around with it, because the beads will fall off. They stick really well once, you know, the glue is dry and everything. But see, one of the beads fell off because I didn't wait long enough. So I'm going to glue that back on. Add an extra one there. Okay, so I think I wait a minute for that to dry. Alright, so waited a few minutes and came back to it. And I'm just gonna glue that on. I think it would also be cool maybe to mix, like, you could do a shell body and head, but do feather wings. Really play around with the different, I think that's what I'm gonna do, is just play around with the different materials I can use to make these angels. I like mixing different materials. So there we have our angel. Now you can leave it like this, or what I'm about to do is I'm going to put a magnet on the back so that I can use it on the fridge. I got these magnets on Amazon. They're like really, really strong, like almost too strong, but I liked how small they were. So I'm just gonna hot glue that on there. And that's it. So thank you for joining me for my first YouTube video. Hopefully the next one will be more professional looking. But anyway, hope you'll come back. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see my future videos, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you.